Hey, Shalom, Akim, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakakwadash. I give double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone and Rule. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Noise in this gospel, broad lift understanding of Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is just a quick lesson through the spirit. Going into, just living a beggar lifestyle, okay, which is told to us that we shouldn't partake in. Now, there's a such thing as getting help and asking for handouts and things like that when you genuinely need it, because in Israel you had what they call a welfare system, when the rich will put more than abundance in the pot for the poor. If the poor wasn't able to cover their expenses and their daily activities, etc., or those that were sick among the people, you took care of them, okay? And often those that were in good and adequate standing, and those of you that know that can pay back if need be. But it's one thing, when you're constantly begging, we had this neighbor upstairs when I was a child. I mean, she used to literally beg us for everything. If we had soap, if we had mustard, ketchup, change, whatever. Just like if she see that we got something, she's coming to knock on the door. And that shit used to aggravate my spirit when I was a kid, man, because it was just like, God damn, like, can you do for yourself? Okay, because the scriptures say by the sweat of thy brow, we should till the earth, we should get our bread, okay, because this fallen state. Now, and the scriptures do say to help, okay, help the poor, help the sick, brothers that's in need. We indeed extend the olive branch to sincere men. But, when it becomes a burdensome, when you're constantly begging every other fucking day, or when you're not trying, or when you're just you have skeptical character, then it becomes to, you get the scopeo put on you, like, wait a minute, this guy's asked for money every other week. Like, what's up with that? And you got certain, guys or brothers, man, that don't really ask for anything at all because they don't want to burden the church, even if they may be hurt. And that's all the pride of being a man, because, we don't like to ask or beg for help, because, I've always been taught that whenever you ask for something, just expect the back consequences of it, which is not always a good way to look at things, because everything doesn't come with a price, especially when the genuine, how can I say it, when it comes with the genuine brotherhood or the righteousness of the brotherhood. There's never any outlash for that, okay? But, like I said, us as men, I was just taught, just coming up, you ask for something and people will hold it over your head. And you dealing among the world, that is the case. Oh, don't you remember when I gave you $20? Shit like that. But ultimately, man, if you live in a beggar's life, you can't call yourself a man of the Lord if you live in a beggar's life, because, hey, the scriptures say if you don't work, you don't eat. Now the Lord does say, forsake everything and follow me, but the Lord didn't say be stupid either. Okay, how about Shem Shai didn't say be a fucking idiot when he say forsake everything and follow me. Dude, you understand the times we're living in. Okay, we are bound to work. Okay, you have bills to pay, and we're living in a time of extreme faith, and we don't have Yahweh Shai literally walking next to us, raising the dead and providing for our every step. So you have to work. Okay, you have to do certain things. You have to maintain some type of livelihood. You have to maintain an apartment or a house or a vehicle, or a vehicle or a home or a job, because that's the way that the ministry gets taken care of. Okay, it's a system. Like, how the hell you think doing the work of the Lord isn't free? Because for one thing, you got to put gas in the car. You got to buy cameras. You got to buy SD cards. You got to pay your telephone bill. These things cost money to keep the ministry going. Okay, and we need money in order to teach the word, because the garments, Bibles, none of that stuff is free, man. Okay, and even if we do get it for free, people that are providing these things and these services for us, they have to pay. So you have to work, man. Okay, and those of you out there, man, that that's in this thing, you have to do things decently in order, and you have to be careful on who you help, because the scriptures say give not unto a sinner, man. So if you have men that's coming in your or I'm just speaking in general terms, if you have men that's just popping up on your doorstep asking you for help, even among people in the world, your fucking family, if it ain't your mother, your father, or your woman, or whoever, or brother, whoever, man, then fuck them. And I ain't saying it to be an asshole, but, you got to prove yourself, man. Okay, I just can't hit somebody up and, hey, give me $1,000. These people don't know me. They don't know where my tents are. So we got to be very careful. Though the scriptures say, be not weary in well-doing, know who you give it to. Okay, if you give it to somebody that have a good cause and they have a good heart, a good mind, and they know the Lord, then okay, that's always acceptable. But just like you ain't gonna give a known crack addict money so it can go buy dope. You know what I'm saying? And if shit, you get burnt enough, you learn. All right. So this is the book of Second Thessalonians. I'm gonna start it for 2:7. No, Second Thessalonians 3:7. It says, "For yourselves know how you ought to follow us, for we behave not ourselves disorderly among you," because it's about decency and order. "Neither did we eat any man's bread for naught, but wrought with labor and travail night and day, that we may not be chargeable to any of you." And that's going into basically we covering our own ass. We cover our own shit. That way can't nobody say a damn thing. You know what I'm saying? Like when brothers get together, we do things. We put in a pot over brother. Have a little bit more. He has above and beyond. He can go a little bit more. He may put more in the pot. But for the most part, we make sure that we take care and we cover our own ass. Because just me as a person, I'd be damned if a person gonna say, well, look, man, I did X, Y, and Z for you. Look, man, I'll pay all this shit back at the end of the day. Because it's good to not be indebted to anybody because can't nobody say anything. That's why it says, neither did we eat any man's bread for naught. They didn't do it for anything. It says, but wrought with labor and travail night and day. Meaning it was a service for a service. That we may not be chargeable to any of you. But me personally, I just don't believe living off somebody else, man. Or, somebody that's taking advantage of you because they can. You know what I'm saying? Or they have some type of certain power over another person they can take. No, man, that's not how you do it. Now, it is true that, the elders, your leaders, they should be taken care of without even having to ask for it. That is true. But even in that aspect, we as men of integrity, we ain't gonna let a brother just spend his life savings on us because we can't, because our shit ain't right. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather ask a brother to help me, or how can he help me to get my shit on point before I have to take from him? What can I do to get in a position to provide for myself instead of just taking from what he take for what he's earning? Now, if he wants to give it, then that's on him, but it's not required. You know what I'm saying? And all the brothers and sisters that help out in the ministry, hey, it's always well appreciated because that's the spirit of the Lord. Certain brothers help and you don't even ask, man. That's the Lord throwing arms at you, man. But I just don't believe it's somebody sitting in my house and I'm doing everything and he's holding a title over my head. Nah, that's not going to fucking work. You know what I'm saying? You're a grown man. Get your ass out there and you fucking work for your money, man. See, the problem with Jake didn't fuck themselves in a hole for so long by playing around in the world. They living under these women and shit like that, man. They fuck up their license. They fuck up their livelihoods and shit. And things happen. I get it. Things happen. We living in a world that is full of landmines. Anywhere Jake goes, it's a trap to get you caught up. But you got to move wise, man. You know what I'm saying? Don't shoot yourself in the foot to the point you don't have an opportunity to get yourself out of a jam. Because I know, you know what I'm saying, men personally in the world that can't even get a fucking driver's license. They can't even get an apartment put in their name because they done fucked up so much. Now they have to depend and beg on people. Us as men, we supposed to be better than that. And like I say, man, yeah, we make unwise decisions. We grow, we live, and we learn. But when you know better, you do better. And when you know better and you continue to fuck up, then that's just on your dumb ass. And ain't nobody got to bail you out for that. All right? And it says here, not because we have not power, but to make ourselves an example unto you to follow us. For even when we were with you, this we command you, that if any would not work, neither shall he eat, man. Okay, so that's the point. If you ain't out there working, you ain't trying to find an honest living, then shit, you don't eat. Okay, now it's one thing. You're trying, brothers gonna look out for you. Of course we are. And I'm just saying in general, family, whatever. Yeah, you're gonna provide the olive branch because genuinely brothers need help. We all need help. But if you just sitting down and you ain't doing anything and you just think somebody's supposed to come and bring you to fucking play the grapes because whoever the hell you think you are, then nah, we ain't playing them games. That's why you got to know who you give to, man. Because if a nigga ain't trying to do better for himself, how the fuck I'm going to try to help you? And watch all men. Some men, they lie, man. Some men say they need this and that and they just playing you, man. So, hey, be scripture said, and we going to get into it. But I'm kind of pressed for time, so I got to kind of speed through it, Salakia. But this is the book of Sirach 18, and I'm going to start at verses 30. It says, go not after thy lust, but refrain thyself from thine appetite. So it may be something you want. We all have that particular thing we want, whether it's carnal, it could be a vehicle, it can be a house, it can be whatever you may see. But it comes a time that you have to refrain from getting certain things until you're able to get them. Like if I know I can't afford a house right now, I'm not going to put myself in debt in order to get this house just so I can say I got it. Now look at me living with the Jonesies. Because then that comes more lust and more lust and more lust. You know, like living within your means, man. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of Jakes, they didn't have that type of discipline growing up. You know, they feel like, well, I can get this, I can get that, I can get that. That's not how it works, man. Okay, certain things you just got to stave off until you're able to get it. And if you want it that bad, I mean, you know, brothers may get it for you, but don't go out your way to ask a brother to get you something because that's what you lusting after. If brother's going to get you something, let it be because you need it. You know what I'm saying? Don't be like, hey, brother, I want this pair of Air Max, man. I've been wanting these shits. Now, if the brother decided to give it to you, you know what I'm saying, without you asking, then that's what it is. But you don't be like, hey, brother, give me $300 so I can go buy me a pair of boots. Brother gonna look at you like, what the fuck you need that for? And the brother may do it, but why your mindset is on that? That's something you should be able to do for yourself. Now, if you are holding conversation and you speak, man, I've been wanting these shoes for a minute, but I can't seem to get it, I can't afford it, then a brother surprises you with it, then you can't take that from him either. Brother gave it to you, bam, here you go. Brother, I knew you've been wanting that for a long time, here you go. That's alms, that's a gift, that's fine. But at the end of the day, you should be able to provide at least somewhat for yourself instead of begging and asking people over and over again for shit that you ain't really earn and scamming people, man. You know? And the Lord knows, man, if you scamming his men, his sons, man, his daughters, man. He knows. The Lord knows. That's a dangerous territory to be in because the scriptures say, would a man rob the Most High? You know, so you ask them, brothers, genuinely let it be because you really need the help. And even if you always need help, sometimes you just got to figure shit out. Sometimes you got to let the Spirit set up a situation for you so you can be in a proper position. You know, sometimes things are just through trial. You have to, you know, build your faith on certain things along these scriptures. It says, if thou givest thy soul, it says, if thou givest thy soul to the desires that please her, she would make thee a laughing stock to thy enemies that malign thee. So if you go in debt over something that you knew that you possibly couldn't afford, then, you know, at the end of the day, people are going to be mocking your ass like, well, you the dumbass that did it. And we've all done stupid shit like that. You know what I'm saying? We've all been in predicaments like that when we've done something and we didn't, when we really shouldn't have, but you live and you learn from it. You know, like I'm not going to go out my way to buy a house, like I said, if I can't afford it. I have to find something that I can live reasonably within, that I'm able to manage. Now, if I make a little bit more money, then we could talk turkey. But other than that, I ain't going out of my way to impress no fucking body, man. You just don't work that way. It says, take not pleasure in much good cheer, neither be tied to the expense thereof, and be not made a beggar by banqueting upon borrowing. Some people borrow, they beg, and then they get money, and then they beg again. And you got to be careful of that too. You know, a man that constantly is begging, you got to ask yourself, why is he steady asking for money? And that's a red flag for me. If I just gave you money 3 weeks straight and all of a sudden you broke again, like I knew a particular individual personally in my life, we don't talk anymore. You know, he's not in my life anymore, but constantly he was always begging for money, whether it be family members, whether it be me or anybody else. And he only asked me so often because they knew I can see through the bullshit, but constantly begging. I knew brothers that gave thousands of dollars to this particular individual, man. And I don't know if he paid any of it back, but, you know, he had a lot of habits that he was trying to cover up. And that's the reason why he was constantly begging, because he needed to support his habit. OK, and I'll leave it at that. But you have to be leery of that. OK, somebody that's always begging is because there's a problem somewhere. Either they're planning or they're fucking you over, or it's something they have going on in their life that they're not telling you about. That's why the scriptures say, know who thou does good to. But it says, be not made a beggar by banqueting upon borrowing. And it says, when thou hast nothing in thy purse, for thou shalt lie and wait for thy own life and be talked on. So, hey, moral of the story, man, find a fucking job, man. Work. The scriptures say you have to work. You're shitty working for Esau. But, hey, at the end of the day, you got to do what you got to do, man. Especially those of us that got families. We have bills. I mean, I can't just sit around on my ass and not do nothing. I got to take care of a place, vehicle to maintain, got a fucking daughter to feed, you know, shit like that, man. So we just can't sit around and do nothing. We ain't in the kingdom yet. But anyway, this is the book of Sirach 40, and I'm going to start at verses 28. It says, my son, lead not a beggar's life, for better it is to die than to beg, man. So, hey, the scriptures tell you it's better to live to die and go to the spirit world before you live a life of a beggar. Like them guys that be on the corner, man, out there with them signs, they be panhandling and whatever you call it, out there asking for money and they really don't need it. You know, begging for money, you know, to support the drug habit. Scripture says better than die. Then you got those veterans out there that really do need help. But even then, you have resources out there. Like you have an infinite amount of resources that Esau actually gives that you can get help. And Esau gets grant money for that shit. So he's encouraging you to go and get help with his charity concerns. You know what I'm saying? He gets paid back for all that shit, man. What the hell you think it come from? It's taxpayers' money. He gets grants off of it. You know what I'm saying? The help is out there. I mean, it's an infinite amount of programs out there you can use to get yourself off drugs or whatever you may be experiencing. They got all types of shit, shelters, man. There's ways to get on your feet in Babylon. I mean, the scriptures say, use the world and don't abuse it. Use this fucking world for what it is, man. If you can get yourself a particular job that can pay or whatever, you can get it like some type of apprenticeship, then go ahead and get that shit, man. Not jeopardizing your faith or letting it become a detriment into your walk. But, you know, there's nothing wrong with, you know, getting a truck driver's license or a license to do things, man. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that shit. Paul was a tent maker. Yahweh Shai was a carpenter. The disciples, hey, they were fishermen. They had money. They had things. They had careers and shit. You know, so use the world, not abusing it, knowing where the power comes from. You know what I'm saying? Like me, I got my CDL license, man. I use this fucking place and I can go anywhere with that if I so choose, you know? And that's how you use the world. Now, is it going to come between my faith? No. But just the fact, certain shit, you just need licenses to do certain things in order to make ends meet. There's nothing wrong with having money in this kingdom. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having a house. There's nothing wrong with having a nice vehicle. I mean, we're Jakes, okay? We're princes of the power. That's in our spirit. But ultimately, it's not about that, okay? But it says here, the life of him that depended on another man's table is not to be counted for a life, okay? Depending on another man to feed your ass, man. You a grown-ass man. You able-bodied. What, you want me to wipe your own ass too? No, you're a grown-ass man. Get up and get out and do something. Unless you're disabled and you really need help. And then sometimes, you know, you go through depression. You don't want to do shit. We've all been there. That you don't want to do something, but you still got to pour through that. You know, still pour through. And it says, but for he polluted himself with another man's meat. But a wise man, it says, but a wise man well nurtured will be beware thereof. Meaning a wise man would see through your folly, through your bullshit. Like, nah, this nigga is full of shit. He's capping. Nah, I ain't taking this guy seriously, man. You know, he may try to get me. He may try to rob me or rip me off. And you have to know who you're doing good to. It says, begging is sweet in the mouth of the shameless, but in his belly there should burn a fire. Man, and who's to tell me that these scriptures ain't on point, man? All right. One more precept here. This is the book of Sirach 12. And one, it says, when thou would do no, it says, when thou would do good, know to whom thou does it. So know who you helping out. Know this man's intent, okay? If he say that he's going to pay you back, then he need to keep that word. I got you, bro. Or, if he can't pay it back, then don't hold that debt against him. Well, hey, brother, I don't know if I'm going to be able to pay out this back. But it's fine. Like, if I do something for a brother, I ain't expecting him to give me the money back. Shit, fuck it. If he gives it back, then he gives it back. You know, shit, I may need him one day. Hey, brother, I may need a couple of $100 from you. I'm behind on bills. And that happens. We're not saying that. You know, brothers bail each other out all the time when need be. But, you know, just to be some nigger with it, no. It says, if so, thou should be thankful for thy benefits. Okay, because if you do good to a righteous man, he's going to surely appreciate the help you've given him. It says, do good to the godly man, and thou shalt find recompense. And if not from him, yet from the Most High. So, hey, the Most High will pay you back. It says, there can no good come to him that is always occupied in evil, nor to him that giveth no alms. But give to the godly man and help not the sinner. Okay, and that's the point, man. It says, do well unto him that is lowly, but give not to the ungodly. So you got to be careful of these niggas, man. It says, hold back thy bread and give it not unto him, lest he overmaster thee thereby, meaning he supplanted you. Or else thou shalt receive twice as much evil for all the good thou shalt have done it to him. So be careful, brothers, man, on who you do good to. All right. If you're giving to somebody, just know their intentions and make sure you have a well-reported history with this person. I don't care if they're family. They can be your fucking grown daughter. You know what I'm saying? And brothers, be careful of these baby mamas too. You know, they hitting you all. Your daughter need this. If your kids are able enough and they don't stay with you, they able to pick up the phone and say, hey, Pops, I need X, Y, and Z. Can you get it? And let it be that. But if the fucking mother's constantly asking for money, then, hey, be wary of that shit too. But anyway, I'm going to end it there, giving all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. And with that, Shalom and above all. Shalom.